people and organizations shaping Orange County. With your host, Don Camber.
Hello, live from the OC Talk Radio studios at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber with another great guest positively impacting our community. Today, I welcome Ablelight Orange County Regional Director Tony Duarte. Ablelight is a national nonprofit leader in supporting people with disabilities. Thank you, Tony, for being on Impact OC.
Thank you, Don, for inviting me and giving me this space to share with us the great work that we do here at Ablelight.
Tony, Ablelight paves the way for people with developmental disabilities to achieve a life they never thought possible by developing personal pathways, advancing the independence, and providing enriched living services. How do you help people with developmental disabilities?
Well, Don, we have so many services throughout Ablelight. We are in 12 different states, but here in Orange County, we really focus on providing services to individuals, whether it's in a group home setting or independent, where they live in their own apartment, their own home, and then we send in our staff to go and support them in their own home to become independent and continue to live independent.
How many people are affected by a developmental disability?
So currently, there is 7 million people in the United States affected with disabilities, and that kind of Autism Speak says it's 1 in every 26 families have disabilities.
Now, when we talk about developmental disabilities, what are we talking about?
Well, it's a big range, Don. We currently support in Orange County. We see a lot of individuals with autism that are coming into our services, and we support them, whether it's helping them find placement in their home or finding them services in their own home.
Now, are we dealing with children or adults or both?
We only deal with adults in Orange County. Our adults are 18 and over, and we work with Regional Center.
And what are the challenges facing people with developmental disabilities and their families?
Well, a lot of the challenges is finding services, finding the appropriate services for each family. That's what's difficult. And I think at the end of the day, what families are looking for is who's going to take care of my loved one when I'm not around? Who's going to be able to support them when I'm not here to be part of their family? So an organization like Ablelight is great. We're here to support families during the process of admitting them to an agency like ours. And then after, the families are not around, we continue to support them.
So walk us through what it's like when a family connects with your organization and the services you provide.
So first, we get the referral from Regional Center, and they'll send us a referral packet letting us know that there's this family who is looking for placement, whether they're looking for a group home setting or they're looking for us to support them in their own home. Once we receive the referral, we go out and we interview the family. We interview the family, the individuals, and we start working with the families and seeing what kind of services are they looking for, what kind of support they're looking. Once we determine what's the appropriate setting for them, then we move forward to the match. Sometimes we'll let them come over and see our group home setting if that's what they're looking for. They'll come and do a visit, get to see our staff, get to see the other individuals that already live in the home, and then we continue to support them if they decide, well, this is not the setting that I'm looking for. Maybe I want more independent living. They want to live independent in their own apartment. So we walk them through the process of what it would take to get them to that service. Sometimes we've had individuals come into our group home where they're looking for a group home setting and they thrive in the group home setting, and now they want to be independent and they don't want to live in a group home setting. So then we support them and we find ways to help them sign up for housing, help them find an apartment, and then once we get them to move into their apartment, then we set up shopping once a week. Or maybe we're taking them to doctor's appointments, or maybe we are supporting them just doing housekeeping chores around their house. So each case is individually, and we assess each case individually, and it's really person-centered. So what does that person want? How do they want to be supported? And it's not like how we want to support them, but how do they want to get supported?
Keeping in mind their disability.
Of course. So that's why it's very important that we go through the assessment process, because each individual has their own needs, but also they have their own wants. What do they want out of life? What do they want to do? And sometimes, it's hard for families to understand. They want to leave alone and they don't want families, supporting them. And it's also educating the families and letting them know, okay, your loved one is now an adult and they want to be alone and they want to live in their own apartment. And it's our job to support them. And sometimes that's a hard time. It's educating families too and letting them know they can do this. They do have a disability, but there's a lot that we can do to support them.
So what goes on in a group home?
In the group home, we basically it's a 24/7 setting. So we have staff 24/7 in the group home, and we support them with their meals. So our staff our staff cook. We provide administer medication. We do depending on the individual. A lot of times we do personal hygienes. So hand over hand personal hygienes. And then we support them in the health, taking them to their doctor's appointments, taking them out on community outings, also providing outreach to the community. So maybe going to the movies, maybe going out shopping, maybe going to the park and picnics. So we set up different types of activities throughout the year.
Will they be there the rest of their lives in a group setting?
Well, some people will. Unfortunately, some people will be staying in a group home setting the rest of their life, but the goal is always trying to see what's next for that individual. What can we do to support them? And like I said, the great thing about Ablelight is that we do have the group home setting and then we have the independent supported living setting, where a lot of times if they have thrived in the group home setting, they're able to graduate and maybe move on to an apartment and move on their own, and then we support them through that. And a lot of times we've all seen that people start in the independent living program where they're independent, and as they have age and they have maybe medically declined, their health has declined a little bit and they need more support, we're able to transition them into our group home setting where there's going to be more supervision, there's going to be more support. Our group home setting set up with a program manager who oversees the staffing, an administrator who oversees their habilitation, and then a nurse that oversees their health. So it's a group of people always supporting the group homes.
Now, would they live alone in supported living services?
Excuse me. Yes, they do. In supported living, we have individuals that live alone, completely alone, and we send staff throughout the week, maybe once or twice a week, and just supporting them in what they want. So it could be going grocery shopping. Sometimes they just need to go pick up their medications. Sometimes staff will go in and help them pay their bills for the month, whatever bills they have, and they pay them. And in a different setting, we also have individuals that live in their own apartment, but they get 24/7 care. That means there's an employee in their home 24/7.
How's it funded?
All our programs currently are being funded either through the state, so through insurance, or through Regional Center. Regional Center supports our organization, and they will support our independent living and supported living program. Most of our group homes are funded through the state, through their insurance. So in California, we have Medi-Cal, and in Orange County, it's called Optima.
What about the developmental disabilities? What primarily are those people in the independent side get to have supported living services?
So it varies. For example, let me tell you the story of one of our friends, Mary. She was independent. She received 20 hours a month from our program. And as she got older and her health started declining, she needed more support. Now, Mary hated the idea of going into a group home. Just hated the idea of going into a group home. Every time her family would discuss, Mary, you're getting older and we think you need more support. Maybe it's time for you to move into a group home setting, because that's all they knew. That's all what the family knew. And working with myself and my team, we said, no, she can continue to live in her own apartment and she can continue to be independent with the support of employees, of our staff. And so she was thrilled. Once she heard that she was not going to move into a group home, she was thrilled and she loved living independent. And as she health declined, she lost a lot of that independence. She was able to go to the store by herself. She used to be able to go walk into the park by herself. She did all her chores by herself, but as her health declined, she needed assistance. She couldn't ambulate anymore. She needed help with her toileting, her hygienes. So we went in there, we did an assessment, and we were able to support her and be able to keep her in her own apartment with the support of the staff. And they come in every day and they support her, where they help her cook her meals, they help her do her personal hygienes. They take her to her appointments. They administer her medication. Currently, she has a G2 feeding, so the staff were trained by our nurse to be able to support her and feed her through her G2, and she's able to stay. And she lost all her independence, but she was still able to keep her own apartment. And for her, that's important. And we were able to do that with our staff, with our team, and with the help of Regional Center.
So basically, if a parent has a child who, we'll just say, is autistic, could be on the spectrum, they can know that when their child becomes an adult, there is help out there so that they know that their child doesn't have to live with them the rest of their lives.
Yes. So a lot of times, actually, it's funny you say that because a lot of times it's the opposite. Sometimes families want to keep their loved ones with them because they're afraid of the services out there. They don't know that there is services out there. They don't know what um, is available for them. And there is a lot of services available through Regional Center, who supports Ablelight with services, but there's also a huge lack of services. Housing is the main concern. There's not enough housing or placement agencies for people to move out. There's also a lot of lack in funding. The funding that we do receive at Able Light through the state doesn't meet the cost of care. We're constantly having to fundraise and look for people to support our organization, our cause, and volunteers, because the state does provide some funding, but it's not enough to cover the cost of operating a group home or operating our other programs.
So you need volunteers.
We need volunteers. We need people to sign up. We need employees, our DSPs, who are great and wonderful. And I always say that our direct support professionals are the backbone of our organization. They come in day in and day out to support our individuals. Holidays. In our organization, there's no holidays or days off. We work 24/7 and we support them every single day. So without our DSPs, we couldn't do the great work that we do at Able Light. So we are constantly needing direct support professionals.
What kind of volunteers do you need?
We need volunteers for everything. Actually, we currently are, with the help of Violet, we are having a big push for volunteers. It could be as easy as them coming in and doing crafts with our people in one of our group home setting, um, doing some nail painting with some of our females residents, or it could be coming and doing some cooking and cooking for our residents so that our staff can enjoy more time and being able to support our individuals. We currently have one of our churches that came and did a project with painting the outside of the home, planting plants, making the house beautiful. Because sometimes we forget this is someone's home, right? We sometimes come in and day out to work, but this is the home of the individuals. They've lived with us for 30, 40 years, and we need people to come and show some love to our people. And so this church came in and they made the house beautiful. The people supported there were excited to see them. They were actually supervising the work they were doing. And so any type of volunteer that we can get, we are more than happy.
What are some of the misconceptions people have about people with disabilities?
You know what? I think a lot of it is they think that we don't provide back to the community. And I think earlier we were having a conversation here in the room how the people that we support, they also are able to give back to the community. They're able to volunteer. I had a group of guys earlier in my career that we used to go work at a church. We used to go volunteer at the church, and we used to take the donations, and they love volunteering there. We have some of our people that work at the pantry where they give free food to the community, and they love packing the foods items and giving them out and passing them out and making sure that they're there on time, and that they were told they had to make 100 bags, and they do 100 bags. So we also can give back to the community.
Now you talk about regional center. You get your clients primarily through regional center, right?
Correct. So we are a nonprofit organization, and we only work with regional centers. So we're not a private pay. All our individuals that come to us, all our referrals are coming through Orange County Regional Center.
And what goes on at regional center that then they connect with you?
Yeah, so Regional Center is the organization that basically, the way I like to kind of set it for a lot of people that don't know a lot about this field, it's kind of like their social worker. They're the ones that are out there looking for vendors like Ablelight and connecting their clients with us. So there are different organizations that provides different types of services. So regional center is the one that says, okay, we have this individual, they're looking for a group home setting. Who can we connect them to? And that's how when they reach out to Ablelight and say, look, we have this individual, they're looking for placement, they need a home in Orange County. Can you support them? Here are all the needs that they need, and are you able to meet that?
So you provide the living needs, and then is it that regional center that will provide the people to go in there and help them?
No, we provide everything.
You
So
provide everything. So if they
we-
have a job, you can go on the job site and make sure that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, so we provide all services. So if an individual needs, medical attention, that's why we have a nurse on site that will oversee the case, and then our staff will make sure that they're being taken to their doctor's appointments, and that once they go, if they need follow up, they go to their next appointment. If they have a job, so we currently place someone in one of our homes that she works for Albertsons. So her schedule's a little different, something unique, because sometimes she'll work in the morning, sometimes she'll work in the afternoon. So our staff, work closely with the store to make sure that we get the schedule on time and that we're able to accommodate and we're able to set up all her transportation. So our staff will take her to her job, and then we'll pick her up. If she's maybe not having a great day, that day, and we get the call from the store and say, this person needs a little bit more assistance, then our staff will go in, make sure that the person is being supported, and if she wants to come home, then our staff will bring her home.
Oh.
So we provide all the services they need.
I want you to describe some first days for a person living in a group home, and then I want you to describe some first days of a person living independently in their own home.
You mean from a staff perspective?
No, from the
individual
client, yeah.
Okay. So from
Because it's the first time that they're being away from the family.
yeah, so that's very interesting, because when we place somebody for the first time in their apartment, it actually takes a little bit more work because it's the first time they're going to be out of their home. So the first person that I remember placing in independent living, and they were moving out of their home, they were excited that they were leaving, but once they got to their apartment, it kind of hit them. We're like, okay, now I'm alone. Now I'm not gonna have mom and dad to help me, right? So we were able to come up with a plan where the individual had support from the staff throughout the day, and then throughout the night for the first couple of days to see how they would adjust to their new home, the new setting, and then we slowly started to pull back the staff. Maybe we started having 24/7 care, and then we slowly started pulling the staff out because we noticed, okay, this person is fine throughout the night. They don't need support throughout the night, so then we removed this knock shift. Then in the day, they were going out to work or school or whatever activity they had, so we started pulling that staff away. And we really target the days and times that they really needed support, whether it's because they wanted to go to the movies, or maybe they wanted to go meet with a friend at the movies, or go out to dinner with a friend and they needed support with that. Or maybe they go to grocery shopping again. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication to be able to place someone in an independent living home, because it's their first time living out, and we're also learning them and they're learning us. So it takes a good team to build that case.
And what's it like at a group home?
In a group home, well, unfortunately, a lot of our people who are in a group home setting have been in a group home setting for many years. So they're used to the group home setting. When they transition into our home, it is a little bit of a challenge, because now you're living with 4 or 5 other individuals in the home. And each individual has their own personality, and each individual already kind of know who is already living there. They're kind of already have their setup, right? A lot of our people, they love structure and they love routine. So bringing someone new is helping them adjust to their new setting, helping them find their own routine, helping them find their own adjustment. And so we have a group of occupational therapists, speech therapists, dietitian, our nurse, that will come and do assessment and try to help build that setup for them. Whether it's once a week, they're going to have a recreational activity, we set up goals for them to meet throughout the first 30 days. And then we meet again in 30 days to see where the person sits. And a lot of times we continue to build from there. And we constantly have quarterly meetings and semi-annual meetings to see the progress of that individual and what is it they still need, or maybe they don't need. A lot of times as families and people, we want to put a lot of pressure on the individuals, and we want them to have so many goals. But sometimes we forget to stop by and ask them, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? And that's the new approach that we are really taking on at Ablelight, is person-centered. What does this person really want? What does it really need? And then yet, what are the regulations that we have to comply by? So it's a fine balance, and it's not always easy, but the team does a great job doing that.
Thank you, Ablelight Orange County Regional Director Tony Duarte, for being on Impact OC. And I thank everyone for tuning in. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber. Have an impactful day.
You've been listening to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping our community. Right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.